Lesson 8-11, Multiplication and Division Expressions with Fractions. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to evaluate multiplication and division expressions with fractions. Make sure you have your piece of paper and a pencil ready, and pause the video as you need to take notes. Today's sample question says, Miguel cuts a piece of wood into 2/3 foot long pieces. If the piece of wood is 6 feet long, how many 2/3 foot pieces in all will he cut? So in order to solve this, we need to write and evaluate a division expression. So it's going to look like this. S divided by 2/3 when S equals 6. So S is going to represent the length of the original piece of wood. So now all that we need to do is plug that in. So 6 divided by 2/3. Now we turn this into a fraction, 6 over 1 times 3 over 2. And then we can cross things out here. We have 2 goes in there 1 time, 3 times. So then we have 3 times 3 equals 9 over 1, which equals 9. So S equals 9. Miguel will cut 9 2/3 foot long pieces of wood. Let's take a look at another example. T over 7 when T equals 6 4/5. So first we need to rewrite that, and that would be 6 4/5 over 7. This fraction bar right here, remember that means to divide. So we're going to divide 6 4/5 divided by 7. So as we rewrite that, it will look like this. 6 4/5 divided by 7. So now we turn 6 4/5 into an improper fraction, and that would be 34 over 5 divided by 7. Now we need to turn this into a fraction, so I'll go ahead and put that over 1. Now remember, we can't divide, we need to multiply by the reciprocal, so now it looks like 34/5 times 1/7 equals, now I can't reduce anything, so I get 34 times 1, which equals 34. 5 times 7 equals 35. And those are just 1 apart. Remember, when they're just 1 apart, we can't reduce any farther. So 34/35 would be the answer to that one. Okay, I want you to try 3 2/3 divided by Z when Z equals 2 4/9. Pause the video and work it out, and then come back and check your work against mine. So first I'm going to plug this in, 3 2/3 divided by 2 4/9. So that's what that looks like. So I'm going to turn this into improper fractions. So I have 3 2/3 would equal 11/3, and then this one here would equal 2 4/9 would actually equal 22/9. So those are still, they're dividing by each other. So then I have 11/3 divided by 22/9. Now I turn that into my reciprocals and multiply. 11/3 times, 11/3 times 9 over 22. Here I can cross out, and that equals 1 and 2, 1 and 3. So I end up with 3 halves, which equals 1 1/2. Okay, is that what you were able to get as well? Now we have a multi-step problem, r plus 7 2/9 divided by s when r equals 2/3 and s equals 5/12. So now we need to plug those into the equation. And that looks like this. 2/3 plus 7 2/9 divided by 5/12. So now our first thing, remember, we need to do our order of operations, and that would be dividing over here first. So we need 7 2/9 divided by 5/12. So then that would look like this. So I have 2/3 plus 65/9 divided by 5/12 since I turned my 7 2/9 into an improper fraction. Now I need to rewrite it so that I'm going to be multiplying by the reciprocal, so it looks like this. So 2/3 plus 65/9 times 12/5. So now let me reduce, and I can go 5 goes in there once, and it goes in here 13 times. 3 goes in here 3 times, and it goes in there 4 times. So now I multiply. Let me bring my 2/3 back over here. 2/3 plus 13 times 4 equals 52. And then 3 times 1 equals 3. So 2/3 plus 52/3 equals 54/3. And 3 goes into 54. 18 even times, so the answer is 18. I want you to try this one on your own and see how you do. Come back and check it against mine. It's a plus b divided by 1/6 a when a equals 2/3 and b equals 1/12. So I've rewritten it. 2/3 plus 1/12 divided by 1/6 times 2/3. So here I need to do my order of operations. I have my 2/3 plus 1/12 in parentheses that I need to do first. So I need to get my common denominator, and then that will look like this. So I used 12 as my common denominator, so I had 8/12 plus 1/12, which equals 9/12. So that will be 9/12 divided by 1/6 times 2/3. Okay, this is multiply right here. So I don't need to do that first. It will be 9/12 divided by 1/6 times 2/3, and I just go left to right. So first is 9/12 divided by 1/6, so I need to rewrite that. 9/12 times 6/1, the reciprocal, and that would equal 9/2 times 2/3. Now I need to bring this one down here. So then I can cross these out. I can cross this out to be 1 and this to be 3. These are 1s now. 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 1 is 1, and so it equals 3. Okay, I hope that's what you were able to get as well. So go ahead and rewatch any parts of the video that you need to before heading off and doing today's math assignment.